The first part of our trip started out in Minnesota. That's where I live. And I want to show you now my apartment. That's where I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Again, we started out in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we took a train, a long, relaxing train ride to Seattle, Washington. It took 2 days to get there. Then we stayed 3 days in Seattle, Washington. That was a lot of fun. The weather was really nice. The last part of our trip, though, started out in Seattle, and we took another train trip overnight to San Francisco, California. And then after staying there a couple days, we drove a car down the coast of California to Los Angeles. That's where Hollywood is, where they make a lot of movies. And then we flew in an airplane from Los Angeles back home to Minneapolis. The train trip from Seattle was nice and relaxing, but I don't have a lot of memories of it. In San Francisco, we saw the Golden Gate Bridge. It was very beautiful, one of the highlights of my trip, and probably what San Francisco is best known for. But they also have some redwood trees there, some of the biggest trees in the world. We also saw a pyramid-shaped building that it's known for, and we went to Chinatown and had some real Chinese food. It was fun visiting Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, where we saw some seals. I often tell people that Duluth, Minnesota, where I went to medical school, is a lot like San Francisco. It's very hilly, and it's on an international port where ships come from all over the world. But in Duluth, Minnesota, we don't have seals. We also visited a church where Brenda's grandfather, my wife's grandfather, used to preach during World War II. Then from San Francisco, we took a 3 or 4 day car ride down the coast of California, which is so beautiful. We stopped at a lot of beaches along the way, which are very, very wonderful, because the weather is almost always nice. It hardly ever rains in California, and it's always sunny. Probably the highlight of my trip was visiting the tide pools along the way on the coast of California. Here's a hermit crab I found in a tide pool. Isn't it beautiful and interesting? It was a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and my wife and I enjoyed it a lot.